You guys know what time it is. Get strapped in and ready for some good times. This is the Blowed Out Podcast. What is up, everybody? It is your favorite Fetty with a Natty coming to you a little bit late. So, apologies for that. But I also feel like you're probably used to it. Well, we had some stuff come up. I may or may not have had to go to Reno, which, in all fairness, was fun. 1,200 miles in 36 hours. Not my favorite way to spend a Friday and Saturday, but we did have fun. Came home bearing gifts. Saw some stuff. Saw some stuff that, in all fairness, I've never seen. We checked some stuff off a list. I felt bad because we had to drive actually to Tahoe, down towards Truckee, which is a beautiful, beautiful neck of the woods. Too bad it's in California. And apparently even the bears are trying to leave California because it sucks so bad. And unfortunately, one of those little fellers wasn't quite as fortunate as his compadres. So that is officially the first time I have ever seen a bear cub, of what I would assume. Sad, yes, I know. I've already cried about it. But he was wadded up on the side of the freeway, poor little guy. So, I poured a beer out for him. Just in case, got to see a homeless wiener. Luckily, I was looking down at my phone to see which exit we were supposed to be taking, and he saw a bum camp and a bum's wiener that was just standing there for God and everybody to witness. So I'm glad I missed that, but super cool. I did get to see an epic, I believe it was an E1000G in person, about 10 feet away. It's an airplane. It's a really sick private airplane. Turboprop, probably about, 350 mile an hour job. That is what rich folks do when they have an abundance of money and literally just want to flip off their neighbors. Because it's not big. It probably sells or heralds itself as an 8-seater, but you're not getting 8 of me in it. So it's not a very big airplane, but it is a fast, really cool, really expensive airplane. So we got to see one of those. That was also cool. Also, finally visited our first legal brothel. And by visited, I mean we drove down the dirt road to the dirt parking lot and sat in the parking lot debating on whether or not we should go in, and being, some fellers from Utah, we decided we wouldn't know what to do once we got inside because it was strange. And we weren't there to do anything. It was more of just like spotting the Minotaur after this many years on Earth. So we sat in the parking lot and took pictures, and may or may not have seen some women of the night through the window, which technically. And I pose this question to anyone who may know better than I. If it's legal and they are working at a brothel, are they still considered like hookers. And I mean, no disrespect if any sex workers are listening. I have no issue with it. I take no issue with it. I just wonder if that's a different category because at that point, they're either employees or contractors. Like, I don't know. I'm just curious how that works. Either way, we decided that we wouldn't know what to do with our hands and didn't want to feel stupid going in to just have a drink and see if they had any merch. So we did not. There you go. That sums up our Reno trip. Again, like 1,200 miles in 36 hours. Not the best way to spend a weekend, but also not the worst way. Anyhow, well, as promised, we finally made it to the government shutdown. It only took, as many days as most of them have chromosomes? Oh, nope, sorry, only 43. Well, I mean, until they decided, I guess, right? Oh, Lord. Guys, what a shit show. Honestly, I haven't kept up on it a whole bunch. And unless you were one of the affected government employees, I hope you haven't either. Yes, I know it's important and it's crucial to a lot of things in our country. You know, all of those things are evident, but it's pretty much just a bullshit back and forth, game, which I feel like you guys all know at this point. So hopefully you didn't read too much into it. We all knew it was going to stop. It was just a matter of when. Honestly, I hope that, insurance premiums, at least for PPOs, because I'm down with PPO, don't go up too terribly bad. However, after 25 years of being in some capacity working for Uncle Sugar, I know they're going to go up at least some. So, not a real big shocker there, at least for me. I don't know how you guys are. Hopefully it all pans out well. Man, I don't know. It's just going to continue getting more interesting by the day, which, it's starting to sound like a broken record. But again, get out, touch some grass. Unfortunately, it's starting to get cold here. It's finally starting to feel like November in northern Utah. And that's part of the reason I have been a little absent. We have had unseasonably warm weather here. So my hibernation phase started late. So I'm doing my best to not want to just hunker down in the cave and not come out. But I assume that most of you guys know how that feels, even if it's at random times of the year, unlike myself. I suppose the good news is prices of eggs are down. They claim that the price of gas is going to go down because crude is, just crude. Sounds like the bottom is falling out. Again, I try not to follow the news very hard, but we are going to get some Argentinian beef to supplement our GMO beef. I guess. I don't know. If it's red and at some point it mooed and I can throw it on a grill, I'm in. I get there's implications that could hurt, our local ranchers and farmers. But this is just like everything else. This is going to be some things that may or may not change for a little or a long time until everybody figures their shit out and gets on the same page and irons everything out. Unfortunately, again, there's just no good way around it. I don't have any good answers. I really wish I did. It would obviously be super cool if the cost of living would go down a bit. But I'm not going to hold my breath. And unfortunately, I can't advocate that you do either. All we can do is kind of band together and hope for the best and see what happens. Thank God for some folks on both sides who at least seem to give a half a shit. And I say that with a grain of salt, half, because any of them, I think half is all they're capable of. None of which we can list on all our fingers and toes. Or, all the ones. The, Crockett's and Newsome's, and we should just probably not even go down that rabbit hole, because there's a lot of them that pretend like they care. Speaking of which, I just realized that a lot of things have transpired since we talked last. Sadly, that hasn't even been that long. I know it feels like a long time, but that's just how fast things are moving these days. Sorry, New York. Well, in all fairness, I'm genuinely curious to see how this whole democratic socialism thing works out. I'm certain we've talked about the fact before that universal health care and universal basic income and universal wealth distribution and all the other universal things don't really work out all that well. Are there some countries, maybe you're in one of them, that do have some of those things in place, and do they kind of work? I'm certain. One example being a small European country. And the reason I say that has nothing to do with their politics or the fact that they have implemented it and it's seeming to work well. But the small part, I think, is where it is going to really matter. It may work out okay for a country of 20 or 40 million people, whatever it is. Probably 40 something, I don't know. But not so great when it's scaled up to 340 million or whatever we're at these days. I think it's in that neighborhood. I don't know. I just don't see how it works out well. I'm certainly not a fan of folks like Billie Damn Eilish thinking that it's somehow okay to go on a public stage and call Elon a piece of shit or whatever all the other things she said about him because he's loaded, and she thinks he should just give it to everyone because that's just what he should do. I've seen a lot of things on social media about this lately, and I don't like it, but B, it also weirds me out. Why is it that side of things seems to think that the only people defending the billionaires against distributing their wealth to everyone else just because they have it? Why is it that apparently some folks think that it's only the not six-figure earning blue-collar folks that defend that? Maybe I'm missing something here. I also feel like, regardless of who you are and how you think anyone should spend their money, if you had $1 trillion and you earned it because you're doing super Wookiee things to get super Wookiee money, I guarantee you wouldn't be okay with someone telling you that you have to give it away to random people and you can only have so much, and you're only allowed to keep so much and you have to do this, that, and the other with it. Horse shit. Just flat out horse shit. I'm sorry. I earned my money just like he has. Just like, I guarantee the people who are saying that these folks need to just give their money to random poor bastards because they don't have the money and you should, would not feel the same if it was their money. They just wouldn't. Period. Fight me. That is not wrong. Period. Across the board, I don't care. You cannot convince me otherwise. Now, if I had $1 trillion, would I absolutely give some? Give a whole bunch. Absolutely. Absolutely. I would Chrysler. See? Look at that. Got me all choked up. I should cut that out, but it got me so worked up. I'm not going to. If I had $1 trillion, I like to feel that I want to be a decent human being and I would help people out. Absolutely. Would I give it all away? Hell no. Because if I made all that money, I'm not just going to give it away. Just like Bill Gates, for instance, who claims to be such a humanitarian and a philanthropist. Almost messed that up. He gives away a bunch of his too, but it's a bunch. Not a lot, not a grundle, not all of it. So, they're all doing stuff. And as far as universal basic tax and universal basic income, okay. All right, you got the folks on social media who are crying that the billionaires or the millionaires or the trillionaires or the whatever heirs should be taxed at a higher rate. Okay, cool. But how does your universal work out with that? So if you want them taxed higher, which is what, probably already, well, I don't know, somewhere between 36 and 52%, let's call it, which I realize is a big span, but I don't know, I've never had that much money, but I guarantee it's a lot. So if it's fair for them, then how does it pan out? If it's fair across the board, what does that do to your $15 or $17 or $19 or $21 an hour gig at 51% or 75%? Or 98%. Yeah, 20 sounds a lot more reasonable, doesn't it? But for some reason, no one understands that 20% of a dollar is still 20% of a dollar. So if they have a lot more dollars, it's still 20% of all those dollars. Like, really, this is just, I mean, are they just pouring liquid Tylenol into the water? Or rock stars or monster, I don't know, whatever is somehow seeping in to these younger generations' brains. And I say that with a grain of salt. I know some of you guys are probably young, but I also assume that most of you probably are smarter than that. I just don't get it. Honestly, just like I'm having a hard time dragging my ass out of bed and having a hard time forcing myself to get on here and talk to you guys just because of the weather and everything else, I'm having a real hard time not just turning off all media. Just period. I mean, Shy of Landman, Tulsa King. I mean, there's some good TV. But social media and news, any kind of news, I just want to turn it all off because I think it's just rotting everyone's brains. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm going to take a break and we'll see. Are you a business owner or marketing director for your company? Would you like to explore the potential benefits of advertising on the show? The Blowed Out Podcast currently reaches listeners in over 104 cities spread across 13 countries worldwide. To explore advertising options, including budgeting and frequency, email us at bloatoutpodcast@gmail.com and be sure to include marketing in the subject line. Well, I'm back, and I'm still having a hell of a hard time trying to figure out where a bunch of these people have just literally gone so far off the rails that they're that outside of their minds. It's the same folks, I assume, that were running to social media saying that, well, if I don't get my EBT or my SNAP, then I'll just go steal the stuff from the store. Yeah, I had to let that one just mellow for a second. Because somehow, in some folks' mind, that makes sense. I can't make that make sense. Like, not only at that point are you just a criminal, first of all, and not right. Where, and I believe we talked about this before, I'm certain we've talked about it at some point, but where do you suppose that shit comes from? You think that the government? Somehow the government owes you that? Come on now. Just stop. Just knock it off. You're killing me, Smalls. I just can't make heads or tails of that. I don't know. I don't know about you guys. Maybe somebody can. Maybe somebody can explain it to me, but I seriously doubt it. I guess I'm all ears if you think you got something. We could just go on about this stuff for days and days and days. You guys already know that. I prefer not to. I would rather cut it short and just tell you that, man, I saw the Northern Lights for what I would dare say is it the first time in my life, in almost 50 years, at least, to the capacity that I just saw them. I saw them plain as day with my naked eye just the other night. And sure, you can go down a rabbit hole about how you think it's CERN or HARP or chemtrails, but you might want to do a little bit more homework about those things. It was super cool. Super cool. I'm so happy to have seen it. Was it green ribbons? No. But are we also at 4,600 feet above sea level in Utah? So probably not going to look the same as it does in the Yukon or the Arctic Circle. Absolutely. Come on. Who cares? The sky was blood-ass red and with some green tints and looked bitchin'. That's all that matters, right? That's how I view it. So take it for what it is. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody had a great Veterans Day. Yeah, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. It's not my typical day, so, kind of just going on a whim here just to keep you guys in the loop. Like I said, hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody everybody's back to work, getting a paycheck, and, everything's going good. Planning for Thanksgiving. I'll go ahead and tear some more stuff out here just in a few days, just to do another midweek. But for now, try and be good. Try and have a great weekend. Love you guys. If you need something, reach out. If you have questions or comments, reach out, and we'll talk to you guys real soon. Hey, love you guys. Cheers.